Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is the series where we're going to learn Fyne for developing native applications. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Fyne widgets, and we'll cover like a good percentage of them and how you can implement them into your application. So with me here, I have a very simple Go Fyne application. We can run it so that we see what it outputs. It should be app.go. Then we see how our simple application looks like. Yeah, so that's our simple application, so we can get started. So in this case, we can just say this is going to be the Fyne widgets showcase. Then I want to resize it so that it can be window w should be w dot resize. Then I'm going to have Fyne dot new size. Find a new size, and then I want it to have a width of 600, height of 600. Let's give it some time to load. This should be v2. Let it save, and then we can continue. Okay, what's the problem? We can run go mode tidy. Oh, sorry, this should be /v2. That should resolve the problem. Yeah, so we can run it and see the size now. We've resized it. And since we are going to cover a couple of widgets, I'm going to align them vertically. That's the window that we're going to open. So we can just create a content folder here. So we can just call it content. It's going to be a container. Dot new. I'm going to say layout dot new. New vstack, new vbox layout, and then we can have our, can just have this, you can just cut this, then we can define a variable here, and then we can say this label, then we say that label, then we're going to have content here, then we can run this and see that it's working. So we are going to align all our widgets here. So let's add a title. Let's add a title. So of course our title, we are going to use the label, new label. So we can just come here and say title. Now when you are defining new label, you have two methods. You can either use new label, and you can use new label with style. So method one, I can just call this method one, and then I just say new label. Then I can say Fyne widgets. Then of course I'm going to have title. There's nothing I've changed here. It's just the same. Then assuming that you want to add some styling to this title, you can just use this. You can say maybe title dot alignment. If I want to align it maybe at the center, you can just use Fyne dot center align. Then you can maybe bold it, title dot text style goes to Fyne dot text style, and then you can say bold, and you can call that true. Now this is the long method. I'm going to show you the short method in a second, in a minute. So that's how you style. If you're using this short method, you can see we have styled it, the Fyne widgets. And then as for method 2, you can just use this, just copy this, then I bring it here, and then I'm going to say, let's just comment this out, then you say new label with style, and then you're going to have the text, and I'm going to find the text align center, Fyne the text style bold equals to true. So this is the short method, because you're going to accomplish the same thing with both. So that's how you define your text style, your labels. That's the first widget. Now for the second widget, we have the buttons, because we can call this one, then we can call this 2 buttons. So it's so easy to define buttons. You can just say, let's say button, then you create this, and then we're going to say widget dot new button. Simple as that. So we need the label, you can just call it buttons. Now as for buttons as well, you can define a normal button, and then you can also define a button with an icon. So we can just start with the first one, the button, and then we're going to define a function. As you can see here, I'm going to define a function. We're going to define a function so that it can accept the input, but I want it to do this. And when I click this button, I'm going to create a button. This button, when I click it, it should be able to change this title here. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to take the title dot set text to button clicked. So you can say, maybe I can rename this button and say maybe update title. So since I've created a button here that's going to change the title, I want to want a button that's going to reset the title. So I can just copy this, and in this case I'm going to call this button 2. Then I'm going to say new button with icon. Then I'm going to add an icon here using theme.home icon. Theme.home icon. Now these buttons, we can add them here. So you can add a button and button 2 as well. Then we can run our application. Let's see that it's working. Yeah, as you can see, we have our 2 buttons, and when you click it, it's changing, but this reset is not working. So we can just come back here and say maybe reset title, and then when we click the reset title, it should be able to set the title to Fyne widgets. Now another thing, I don't want these buttons to be aligned vertically, I want them to be horizontal. So we can create a buttons container here, and then we can call it buttons container. Of course, I want them to be horizontally aligned, so I can, they have a lot of things you can use, but for now I'm just going to use the new layout. Then I'm going to say layout dot new grid layout with columns. Then I'm going to just do columns. Then I'm going to have a button I'm going to have the button too. So we'll talk about layout in the next video, so you can just get rid of this. Then we can add the buttons container. Let's confirm that it is working. Let's confirm that it is working. Yes, it's working. So you're going to click the update title, it's updating, it's reading. As you can see here, this is a normal button without an icon, and this is a button with an icon. So the next widget we can look at is going to be entry, user entry, for allowing the user to enter data. So this is not so hard to implement. You're just going to create an entry whereby you can say maybe it's going to be like a username or a password or an email. So in my case, I'm just going to use a username. Then we're going to say widget new entry, and then we can set a placeholder by saying username set placeholder. Then we're going to say username. So that's how you create an entry. Of course, you can also create a password entry, maybe using this way. Of course, we can edit this. Then we can say password. So it's going to be new password, new password entry. Then you can change this to password. Now we need to add them here. So we can come and add them. Then we can say username. And then we have password as well. You can see how our apps looks like. As you can see, they are arranged vertically because of this new VBox layout. We'll talk about layout in future. So that's how they are organized. The username, you can type the username. As you can see, you can type the password, you can show the password. So another widget that we can look at is going to be the checkboxes. I think it should be 4.0. Yeah, there should be 3. Checkbox. So these are some of the components that you should be able to know because you're going to be using them a lot in your applications. So we can just say checkbox, and then we're going to use a widget dot new check, not ready, new check. So we can use either check or check group, but I guess just going to use this new check, and then you can say maybe I accept the terms. Of course, when you're signing into a new account, they'll definitely ask you for this, or maybe to select if you accept to receive updates, or maybe the newsletter, something like that. So you can say the func b. Of course, this you can maybe have checked. Of course, it's a boolean. Either you have checked or not. Okay. So this is how you define your checked button. And once you check it, of course, this value is going to be changed. So if you are going to be updating, it's going to be setting text to checked. Is it checked or not? So that's how you define your checkbox. You can come and add it here. That's how you define your checkbox. You can run this and see how it looks like. Yeah, here it is. You accept the terms. And then another widget that we can look at is going to be a radio button. Of course, we all know what radio buttons are. You can just say 5.0 radio button. Then you can say just radio btn. Then you're going to have a widget dot new radio. radio group. Of course, here we're going to asking for the options. Of course, our options are going to be strings. In our case, we can maybe say male. It should be double male, female. Because there's always a function. S standing for selected. You can just change that to selected. Doesn't really matter. Another one, we can maybe look at a text area. So to make sure that this video is not that long, text area, I can just copy that, and then we're going to have 60. Text area, of course, it's going to be bigger like than a normal entry. So I'll just say text area, new widget dot new. That's new multi, should be new should be new multi something. Yeah, new multi entry, because we're going to have, okay, I can get rid of this, and then we're going to have new multi entry, and then I can set a placeholder, text area, let's set placeholder, enter your message. These are some of the components that we're going to be using when you're building our applications. And then apart from the text area, we can have a slider, 7.0 slider, and then we can say slider. It's going to be a widget dot new slider, because the minimum value is going to be 0, the maximum value of 100. Okay, so we can keep on adding them here. So we have added a checkbox and a radio button, so that they appear and see how they look like. Slider. Okay, I can just do that, and then I edit this slider, and then the next one we have select. So select is used when you want the user to select a multiple of choices that you're providing for them. So you can just say select. It's a keyword, so we can just say size select, and then we say widget dot new select. I'm going to provide the options. I'm going to give an option of strings. Maybe you can say maybe group A. You can just copy this, group B, group C, and so on. And of course, we're going to provide a function of selected. And then if you want to set default selected, you can always set selected to maybe group A. And then we can add it here to our view so that you can see how it looks like. Size select. And then another one, as far as select are concerned, we have two main forms of select. You can either select, but this one is not going to allow the user to enter an option that is not here. So if you wanted to choose an option, maybe you allow users to enter options that are not available, like they can type them. You can use a different kind of select, and this is going to be the select entry. Select entry. We are going to get rid of this, and then you're also going to set selected. Entry select. Of course, you have options there. Is undefined. Okay. That's it. Okay. Let's just add it here. says select to, so you select entry, then you provided your options ABC, then you can continue from there. So we can view it and see how it looks like so far before we proceed to the next ones. So this is how application looks like. We have a button without no icon. We have an up button and icon. We have the entry, of course, for the username, the entry for the password. You can type the password, you can type the username. We have the radio buttons, male and female. Of course, when we select, it's considered to be yes, and it's a boolean. Then we have the slider from 0 to 100. Then we have the groups. Okay, you can see this one for entry. We have this. You can select various groups, and then we have this one whereby you can select a group, and if the group is not there, you can still type it to maybe group D because it's not part of it. So those are some of the widgets. We can look at maybe another one like the progress bar. Another widget, very important, especially when you're creating user application, because progress bar gives the progress of how far the app has gone. So what you normally do, you have to define a progress first, and then you're going to say widget dot new progress bar, new progress bar. After defining it, remember, since in a real application this can work because, for example, you're fetching data from the database or you're logging in a user before the authentication happens. So in our case, we're just going to simulate that process using Go modules. Can just do that. We're going to define a Go func, a Go routine. We're going to define a Go routine so that this Go routine is going to increment it maybe from 0 to 1. So you can maybe say 0.0. Then if I is less than 1.0, and then we are going to increment it with 0.1 so that we can simulate that process. So what you're going to do is we're going to sleep time.sleep so that it doesn't speed up time.milli. The point of doing this is because we want to simulate it so that you can see how it actually like, but in a real life application you don't have to sleep it because it's going to be picking data from a database, then also going to increase the value by I. The progress, this progress are going to be increasing it by I. So we can try and run it. So we have the progress, you define the progress, and then we are incrementing it. So now we can display it. You can display it and say progress. Can run that so that you can see how it looks like. Yeah, as you can see, it's at 100% because it was running. When I just run it immediately, you should be able to see it progressing. Yeah, that was super fast, but it's not supposed to be that fast, but it's running as it's supposed to be. Yes, I plus 0.1. Here we can use, let's try using milliseconds and see if it's going to simulate it. Milliseconds, because it seems like microseconds, it's way too fast. So we can use milliseconds so that you can see it progressing. Yeah, as you can see, it's progressing. Yeah, and for these groups, there's something else that we can do. We can, because they are vertically arranged, we can arrange them horizontally, but I think we can do that in the next video. Another thing we can look at as a widget, of course there are very many, but I'm just going through them in a broader perspective. We can add a toolbar. Can add a toolbar widget. Can add a toolbar widget. Just go to this toolbar. Then we can say a widget dot new toolbar, and then we're going to define the items widget dot new toolbar action. I'm going to define a toolbar action. I'm going to add some icons, theme dot document create icon. After adding that icon, of course, I'm going to add a function so that when it's clicked, we're going to do something. So I can just log to println. I can say maybe document created. So this is a toolbar item. The document, when it's clicked, it's going to create a document. Another item we can add and say widget new toolbar separator, so that you can add a space. You can also add a new toolbar, new widget new new toolbar action. Then I need an icon theme dot. As you can see, this is a list of all icons using the theme library, the theme function. Theme dot maybe content cut. Maybe we can cut whatever one you want. Then you're going to define a function so that when it's clicked, I can copy this one. Then I can say maybe theme instead of cut, theme copy icon. And then I can say theme paste icon, theme content paste icon, paste icon. So when they are clicked, you can just get this function here. I can say maybe document cut. Of course, in a real application, you're going to show how you're going to implement them. Document copy, document paste, and then I'm going to come here and add it. I'm going to add it at the top here. We say toolbar. Now let's see how it looks like. So this is the toolbar. This is the toolbar that we just added. This is the separator. Of course, when you click this one, as you can see here, document created, document cut, document copy, then we have document paste. So that's how you add a toolbar to your application. Another thing that we can add, of course, it's file upload, very important functionality in an actual application. 11.0 maybe file upload. We can say file upload. Of course, we're using the file system. We're going to say widget new label. So I'm going to create a label so that we can be able to know that the file has been uploaded. So initially, no file uploaded. Okay, so we're going to define the upload itself. So you can maybe say file going to be the widget dot new button. I'm going to define a button. We're going to say open file. Then we're going to have a function that can handle the file upload. So we're going to show a dialog dot show file open. Show file open, of course, we're going to have a func. It's going to have a reader. Of course, that's a Fyne resource, Fyne dot URI read closer. And then in case everything doesn't go as planned, we're going to return an error. So if r equals to nil and reader is not equal to nil. So what this means is if error is not nil, that means there is no error, and reader is not nil, we are going to load the file. But otherwise, if there is an error, nothing is going to happen. So we're going to say file upload. So when we successfully upload it, we're going to change this text from no file to the file that has been uploaded. So file dot set text, so we can say maybe opened. We're going to say reader dot string reader dot URI dot string. Okay, now for this to be displayed, we have to also define the window that are going to be showing this. So our window is defined at the top here as W. So we are going to come down here. That is the dialog. For any dialog to be displayed, it must have a window. So I'm going to come down here and say file. Then let's see how this is going to work. That's the error for. This is supposed to be V2 version 2 of dialog. That should be able to work. So let's see how this looks like. You can run the app and then see how it's going to work. So this is the app. As you can see here, open file. Okay, I've forgotten to include the text, so we can put it below the file. You can say file upload, so that we can be able to know. And the reason as to why we're getting that the error you've just seen, it's because we've not defined an ID for our application. So that's our application. As you can see, no file selected. We can select a file. We can come to the desktop. Maybe we can maybe downloads. You can select any here and open, and then you can see it changes. We can select any and it selects it. So that's how you handle file uploads. That's how you handle file upload. Yeah, this error is because we haven't run with a new ID. You can just come here new with ID, and then we can say maybe Fyne Widgets. Then we should be able to resolve this issue. Let's try this again. This should be able to resolve the issue. You can try uploading a file. Yep, as you can see, the issue is resolved using the app ID. So there's plenty to cover as far as these widgets are concerned, but for now this is how you implement them. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.